Hello everyone and welcome to Werven's World. Today I will be reviewing a game pretty much different from most games I play, and it's called Shiplord. Now first a disclaimer, I got contacted by the developer who asked me if I wanted to review this game for them. I told them I'd be up for it, but warned them it would be an honest review, so it might have to be a negative one. But they were okay with that, and I got my Steam key. So I've been playing this game for a couple of hours now, and I'm about 2/3 in the game, and got a good feel for how the game works, so I thought I would make the review now. Shiplords is a very interesting game. While the screenshots on the Steam page might make you think it's a shmup or a bullet hell type of game, this is actually not the case at all. The concept is extremely simple. Collect as much quasars as you can while avoiding asteroids and survive until the time limit. You have 3 skills at your disposal to enhance your survivability in this game, which is very much needed because one crash basically means you have to start all over again. The first skill is a shield, which will make you invulnerable for a while, and thus you can fly through asteroids and destroy them. The second one is a force field, which will suspend the asteroids in time, basically slowing them down and making you able to get your bearings in order to find a path through. Lastly, there's an energy collector, which collects quasars for you from a distance, so basically that allows you to collect quasars even though you couldn't physically reach them. And that's basically it gameplay wise. After each 4 levels you can fight against a boss who has specific patterns of attack that you need to avoid, just like in a bullet hell game basically, and you can select different difficulties for these bosses, which provides you with a higher challenge. After each beaten level you get upgrade points according to how well you did, and you can use these to upgrade several different things, mostly to do with skill cooldown or duration. So let's start the review. To summarize, I find it hard to find negative things about Shiplord. At the same time I also find it hard to name especially amazing things about the game. But let's first talk about graphics. The graphics in this game are quite nice. They do support 2K, I'm not entirely sure about 4K because I don't have a monitor like that. However, I do have an ultra widescreen monitor and it didn't support that, so I was a bit sad about that. However, the graphics are nice and the asteroids have a lot of variation and they differ in style a lot between levels, so that's quite nice to see. The planets look especially great in this game, I think, with like little moons orbiting them and a lot of stuff going on. I really enjoy that. Unfortunately, there's only one ship model. Although you can unlock a lot of different skins for it, they're just kind of minor color variations on the same design, so you will be flying the same ship throughout the game. Overall, the graphics won't really blow your mind. However, what I do really enjoy is the atmosphere of this game. Basically, some games make space feel either really bland or too colorful, and I think in this game they struck a very good balance between the two. I think the space basically looks really nice. It conveys a nice atmosphere. One thing though I found annoying is that the HUD is integrated into the game, yet it creates a barrier where you can't fly. This killed me on several occasions. As you can see here, for example, I thought I'd fly above the asteroid only to find out there was an invisible wall. So basically a dividing line or something would be nice here, because it looks like open space but the HUD prevents you from flying there. As a tiny nitpick though, on some occasions I couldn't really distinguish what was in the background and what was actually an asteroid which I wasn't allowed to fly into, and this killed me on some occasions. But overall it's pretty clear what is what, but just sometimes I didn't exactly know if I could fly into something or not, and because of the high pace of the game you need to make a decision very quickly. Alright, on to sound. I really like the music in this game. It doesn't really get tedious and it's kind of relaxed to listen to. It has like this typical electronic space music style, and I quite like it. I wasn't a huge fan of the sound effects though. They're kind of bland, and also especially during boss fights, which you probably have to do many times because they can be fairly difficult, some of the sound effects got really grating. I can give you an example here. Next up are the controls, and this is where the game falls a little bit short in my opinion. I have a Logitech wireless controller, but this game doesn't seem to support it. The Steam page lists partial controller support, which I have no idea what that means, but maybe it does support an Xbox 360 controller, but I'm not sure, but at least it doesn't support mine. This is quite annoying, as I'd love to play this game with a controller, because you have to play it with a keyboard, and that means because the ship is so fast and it doesn't really have acceleration or something, movement is very sudden and haphazard, which kind of reduces your accuracy, and it makes me at least often fly accidentally into an asteroid. So controls, I really wish they would add a bit more support for it. Let's get to the most important part, the gameplay. I like the gameplay. The concept is very simple, and I normally like very complex games, but I can't deny that I had a very good time playing this. Some levels, especially some boss fights, were quite frustrating, yet whenever I beat them afterwards, after many tries, then there was definitely a moment of elation once I finally managed to beat them. And well, the levels were really never unfair, which means after each death I would be hitting the restart button instead of just quitting the game. So even though, of course, sometimes this difficulty can be a bit frustrating, you can definitely get better at the game, and that's what I really enjoy. It's kind of, I don't know, it's a stupid comparison, but just like something like Dark Souls, it's like whenever you die, it's probably your own fault, and it's just a matter of getting better. The game really wants you to do well. Basically, you can only fight bosses if the previous levels you've all beaten with a gold medal, and that's not necessarily to my style. Although I also don't think I'm really the target audience of this game. I'm basically not a completionist at all, and I just kind of want to see the content and the story. So I'm not necessarily interested in getting very much better at certain games, so I was a bit sad to see that I had to replay some levels often because I didn't get a gold medal in them in order to see more content. But yeah, about the target audience, I guess it's like for competitive people that want to hit high scores and stuff like that, but it's kind of interesting, there is actually no leaderboard in this game, so that might be sad for people that are actually really into these type of games and want to hit the first spot on the leaderboards. I personally normally tend to play a game for either immersiveness of gameplay or the story, and this game doesn't really have any of those. It has a story which doesn't make any sense, or is at least very shallow, and it's not really engaging in any way. The real fun in this game really comes from its simple gameplay and basically trying to get a high score. What I found really lacking in the game though was customizability. You can unlock a lot of skins but not any new ships. It would be nice if one ship, for example, was really slow but had less cooldown time on its shield, while another ship could be very fast but more cooldown on the shield or something like that. You can unlock upgrades, but they're all really bland. Basically all of them dealing with cooldowns or duration, like, oh, your shield, you can use it more often or it lasts longer. There's not really any original things in there, and that's a bit sad because it's always fun to upgrade your ship, of course, but if the upgrades themselves are a bit lackluster, that kind of reduces the fun of it. So basically a bit more interesting things to unlock would go a great way, I think, in making this game much more replayable. One thing that irked me a little bit is how disconnected this game feels. Basically after a mission you get upgrade points. So you spend them, you click on the upgrade screen, you spend them, but then if you want to do the next level you first have to go back to the main menu in order to click start game again and choose a mission again, and this process could be much more streamlined. Basically just immediately after a level you can upgrade and immediately dive into the next level, but now it really feels disconnected having to jump from menu to menu all the time. On to the summary. There's no doubt that Shiplord is a very polished game. Everything looks great, it plays smoothly, except for the lack of controller support, but I haven't encountered a single bug at all, which is really nice. There are some sloppy mistakes in the game, especially related to spelling, but overall I think the game is very simple yet very engaging, and as well difficult yet fair, which is really nice. If you're the type of gamer that enjoys thinking on their toes and reacting quickly to situations, I think you will really enjoy this game. However, if you're a gamer who likes complex and deep systems, then this game will not really be for you. If you're a gamer who likes things like bullet hells, I'm not entirely sure really. I never really play bullet hells. On one hand, this game has a lot of things you might like. You have to be very careful not getting hit, but you don't find any weapons. You can't really upgrade your ship in that sense, so you can't really make your own ship awesome by beating the enemy. So that's a very big difference from normal bullet hell games. So I'm not entirely sure whether to recommend it or not to people who like those types of games. Would I buy the game if I hadn't gotten a review copy? Well, to be fair, probably not. However, that's mostly because I tend to prefer complex simulation games over games requiring dexterity and finesse, so I'm just basically not really the target audience. However, would I recommend it to someone else who likes these type of games? Definitely. It's very polished and the price is very fair. Lastly, it seems that the devs are very eager for feedback. Thus, I have no doubt at all that the game will improve, so That's why I want to say I made this review for version 1.0, so things might change in the future and anything I said might not be true at some point in the future anymore. But with that, I hope you find this video useful and see you next time.